again, and welcome to a new episode of What the F. Now, apologies for the absence of late. I had some major issues with my video editing software ever since I'd updated the laptop to Windows 10. But my lovely friend Neve, who I hope watches this video, she is a bit more tech savvy than I am. Excuse me. And she helped me sort out the problem. So yeah, I haven't done this in a while. But again, thanks again to Neve for helping me sort out my video editing issues. So yep, new episode. Now, in the past, I've done serious subjects. In these videos, I've talked about gay marriage, the abortion issue, other serious things. And then I've done geek themed ones, primarily Superman, and I've talked about conventions and stuff like that, and the ongoing video series I have of updating in regards to Batman v Superman, the movie that's out next year. So I thought this time I'll do something on a lighter vein, funny even, because again, I'm generally an upbeat kind of guy, so I like talking about the serious stuff, but I prefer to talk about things that are funny, things that are, a good laugh, happy. So my next two videos, this one and the one I'll record probably next week, are both in a lighter vein. And the one I'm going to talk about now is something that happened, is something that I discovered not long ago that's just fucking hysterical. I'd better explain what it is. I mean, as you've seen in the picture that's attached to the video when you go onto it, you see a picture advertising what the video is. This is about something called ScanBC. Now you're wondering, what is ScanBC? Simple explanation: it's a Twitter account. Now I was very anti-Twitter for a long time, but I joined up to it when I thought that Facebook was going to start charging people. But I actually like Twitter. I think it's a good laugh, and it's great communication, right? And there's a lot of funny things on Twitter. I follow a lot of celebrities, some comedians, some politicians and such, sports people, actors. And one of the people I follow is Kevin Smith. Now, most people would know Kevin Smith as one half of Jay and Silent Bob. He's Silent Bob. His friend Jason uses Jay. But he did movies like Clerks, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, the recent Red State and Tusk. Good filmmaker and generally funny guy. What he loves to do these Q&As, and they're very funny. But he's also, in recent years, become something of a podcast master. Podcasts are those free kind of radio programs you can download on iTunes and other sites, and you can listen to them on your iPod or whatever media device you use to listen to stuff. And a podcast Kevin does with his producer friend Scott Mosier is called Smodcast. And they, in a couple of episodes back, they started talking about ScanBC. And Kevin Smith, right, is a guy who loves Canada. And somebody's emailing this link to ScanBC. Now, I've mentioned a couple of times, you're probably going, tell us what it fucking is. I'll tell you right now. It's a Twitter profile from the BC stands for British Columbia, which is in Canada. And I've got a kind of a thing open here that tells me what it is, and other things as well, because it's fucking hysterical when I found this. It's basically, the description on Twitter says, ScanBC is British Columbia's online radio scanning community, your source for raw, unfiltered, local breaking news. Now basically what it is dispatch messages. The way how you ring the law, like you dial 999 or 911 in America or whatever number you fucking dial in the country you're in. You speak to the dispatcher who will say what's your emergency, what's wrong, and then they put out the message to this is happening here. Well, I don't know who decided to do this, but someone, I'm assuming the law enforcement in Canada, which is either the normal police or the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they decided to set up this Twitter account and tweet the dispatch notes. Basically, the messages that they would get from the dispatcher telling them what was going on. Basically, reports of crimes. And the one thing Kevin Smith is always banging on about is how great Canada is. You know how peaceful Canada is. You know, it's like they're just above America, but they're very happy, jolly people. You know, the Canadians have this reputation of being like very nice people. Kevin Smith's often said, "Oh, geez, man, one day I'm going to go and live there. You know, it's a great place." Excuse me. And yeah, he's always saying that, and he cites this Twitter feed, the Twitter feed of ScanBC, as proof of how jolly weird and kind of funny and happy Canada is as a country. And reading the tweets, like I was reading the tweets now the other night, and I mean, there were some serious ones about stabbings and hit and runs, serious crimes going down, but most of the time, as I scanned through the feed, there were crimes, if you can call them crimes, I suppose they are, that were just, I was hysterical. My dad actually was like, "Dave, what are you doing in there? What are you reading? What are you watching?" Because I was just laughing hysterically at the tweets that I was reading, at these reported incidents in Canada. And it was just hysterically thinking, geez, if this is the worst of crime in Canada, then fuck yeah, I'll go live there. It sounds like a great place. These funny, weird crimes that are just hysterical beyond belief. And what I've decided to do for this video is I went through the feed. Now again, I said this is going to be a jolly happy tone, so I didn't take down any of the hit and run, the stabbing, because again, as I already said, there are some serious crimes reported. But I just, like, the majority that I read just seemed to be these jolly kind of weird crimes that you really be like, Jesus Christ, is this real? But it apparently is a real Twitter account, real. It's not a fake, it's not a jokey account, it's real. And I've got a list of them here that I'm going to read for you that are just, again, you're probably going to laugh yourself. So I'll just have a look at the thing. I'm going to look off screen now. So yeah, the first one on the list I'm looking at here is Vancouver police are responding to the McDonald's at Main and Terminal for an irate male upset after staff woke him up. I mean, it's like basically the guy went to McDonald's, ordered food, and then went to sleep. And he apparently was quite irate. Didn't like being woken up in McDonald's. Like, that's a good one. I like that. And the next one here now. Vancouver police are responding to 600 East Broadway for reports of a male with a large knife ran into a cake store. Now you wonder, why did he run into the cake store? Did he come ready prepared to fucking sample some cakes? No, was he a guy planning a wedding going, "Don't worry, I brought my own knife"? No, it's just again strange. Where's the next one? There it is. Surrey RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, are on the phone with a male 911 caller crying because his feelings were hurt by a police officer. So basically, this guy, it seems, called 911 to report the police officers for hurting his feelings. Now that's just, again, like, where else in the world are you going to get a report like that? Where is the other one? There's another one. Vancouver police are responding to Douglas Park at West 20 Avenue and Heather Street for reports of a female stealing dirt. Now that's not even a fucking crime. Dirt is dirt. It's on the ground. It's everywhere. You can pick it up, do what you like with it. It doesn't really say, well, what was the woman doing with the dirt? But again, it's irrelevant what she was doing with it. Dirt is dirt. It's free. You can do what you like with it. There's another one. Vancouver. Here's a good one. Vancouver police are responding to 1100 Hornby Street for a report that a female is hitting people with an umbrella. Now, if that were a crime reported in America, it would be like, fucking the person, whacking them with a baseball bat or shooting. This is someone who is like, so irate and angry with the world. They're hitting people with an umbrella. Again, how bad can it be, really? Where's another one? Oh, this one just fucking had me rolling. Like, The reaction isn't going to be great because I've read it already, but fucking unbelievable. Vancouver police are chasing a male who stole a dinghy and is rowing across Falls Creek trying to flee from officers. The guy basically went into wherever they sell these rubber dinghies, these little floated boat, little emergency fucking rubber boats that you hear about on planes. He basically stole it and then used it to flee from the officers who were trying to catch him for stealing for stealing the very thing he was using to get away. Yes, brilliant, brilliant. Oh, this is a good one here. Vancouver police are responding to the McDonald's on Grandview Highway for reports of a male taking off his shirt and throwing drinks at staff. Now, what is it about McDonald's? I mean, we already had the fucking McDonald's where the guy was upset that the staff woke him. You know, it's like weird shit happens in McDonald's in fucking Canada, clearly. Whereas, because again, I took down a whole lot of them. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm, like, you know, there's a load of them. I'm just going to try and pick the best ones. But here's an interesting one here. Surrey RCMP are responding to the McDonald's, again, fucking McDonald's, at 102 and King George for reports of a male with a knife fighting a male with a hammer. No, that's not exactly going to be an even fight, is it? I mean, the guy, like, you know, fucking, very two different objects. You have a knife and a hammer, like, you know, it's a very uneven fight. I would imagine maybe the knife is deadlier because, I mean, you can whack a guy in the head with a hammer, he'll live. It hurt, but he'll live. But with a knife, not. You're dead. But again, it's like, you know, it's not exactly a fucking common occurrence where, like, you know, oh, you bring a knife to a gunfight. What, you bring a hammer to a knife fight? You know, it's just weird. Where's another one? Ah, here's a good one. I'm scrolling through them as I see it. Vancouver firefighters requesting police to 1800 Commercial Drive for a male getting irate after firefighters woke him up to check on him. Now, again, that's a pretty funny thing there, but like you know, waking up to check on him. Why were the firefighters checking on this guy? It doesn't mention his house was on fire, so I'm going to assume his house wasn't. But again, it's, you know, the wackiness of Canada again. It's just weird shit, I swear to God. Now, this is a bizarre one. This was kind of funny, but you're thinking, what the fuck happened here? Vancouver police are responding to the Michaels store at 665 West Broadway for reports of a female hitting herself in the head with a cookie. I can imagine being the police. I can't imagine, like, you know, being the police showing up at that and just seeing the woman with a fucking, which is essentially a biscuit. That's what a fucking cookie is, a biscuit. Just go whack, whack, whack. What are the police going to do? I mean, it's not like she's going to do serious harm to herself. She's wasting a perfectly good fucking cookie. I can imagine the police just probably showed up and just said, just let her do it. The offending weapon, if it can even be fucking called a weapon, will eventually disintegrate to dust, and then they can just say, really? Are you serious you're doing that? Where's another one here? Yeah, there's another weird one. Again, they're all weird, they're funny, but some they're just bizarre. Vancouver police are responding to a store after a customer accidentally handcuffed himself and is unable to find the key. Now, first of all, who but the police is carrying handcuffs around on them? And who doesn't carry the fucking key? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and again, like, you know, this doesn't say what kind of shop this was, but presumably the guy went in there to get something. How the fuck does he end up handcuffed? No, I like this one. This one's kind of sad. You know, I feel for these guys. I pity them. I really do. Richmond RCMP are searching for 3 males near ScanBC Secondary School after they left their bong behind. Now, were these 3 male students? And if so, what the fuck were they doing with it? I mean, like a bong. I mean, for those who don't know, a bong is essentially what some people use to smoke weed, marijuana, and other things. And a bong is pretty big, so like, you know, how the fuck did they get that into school? You know, what were they doing with it in school? Obviously smoking something, but why did they leave it behind? If you're a stoner, you love your bong. You don't ever leave it behind. It's like leaving a man on a battlefield. No man left behind. No bong left behind. Clearly for these guys, because they went back for it. There's another one there. I like this one. This was a very kind of gallant, funny thing. Vancouver police responding to 20th and Arbutus for a male wearing only underwear with a knife chasing a male who broke into his car. Now the question that comes to mind is, how the fuck did this guy end up in his underwear? I mean, was he driving that way? Who the hell drives in only their fucking boxers or, like, you know, just says underwear? So I'm assuming maybe underpants that I was wearing. You know, what was he doing driving wearing only that? But can you imagine being the guy who steals that car? Like, you know, you fucking get out of the car. You rip the guy out and you jump in and you speed away. You look in the rear view mirror and you expect to see traffic behind you. But no, you see a semi-naked man in his underpants with a knife running after you. I would imagine that crime would stop fairly quick because the guy would nearly just push on the brakes and just laugh hysterically at the bizarre nature of what he's seeing. It was a weird one. Now again, I'm looking at the counter. It's long enough than I expected, but so I'll read one more. Now this isn't like, you know, a best of. This is like the #1 funniest one. This is just random ones that I've been scrolling through. And this is the last one. This is a bit weird. Okay, they've all been fucking weird. Vancouver police are responding to English Bay for a male in a black Speedo masturbating on the beach and taking pictures of himself. No, I kind of detest the modern fucking fad of the selfie, you know, that, you know, take a picture of myself. I know what I fucking look like. I don't need a photo of myself all the time. But all these celebrities and teenagers and shit, they do it. For some reason, they feel a constant need to remind themselves of what they look like. But this is taking it a bit too far. I can't imagine sitting on a beach in black Speedos, and I'm presuming the guy didn't have a shirt on. It was a beach. Sitting on the beach, you know, masturbating away, taking photos of himself. What do you do? Who the hell is he sending these photos to? You know, I mean, like, what woman is going, like, you know, is he thinking, oh shit, I can love this, turned on by this area? Who the hell, I mean, what woman would be into that? I mean, there probably is. There's some people who are into some weird shit in the world. There's probably someone who would be into seeing a guy on the beach, you know, masturbating and taking photos as proof of the act. Maybe it was a dare. Maybe somebody dared him to do it. I don't know. But no, again, from that list of 14 ones, I mean, again, there's many more. I mean, I'll put the thing up now. It's actually going to appear at the bottom of the screen right here. The Twitter handle, address, if you will, is again at the bottom of the screen. It's at ScanBC, and the BC in capital letters, I'm assuming, because it's hysterical. I've actually turned on the notification on my phone for that specific account, because again, you will get, as I said, you'll get the odd serious one, but most of the time it's just these funny, weird kind of crimes, like the ones I've just read about. Like, you know, a lot of them aren't even crimes. But if I've learned anything about this, about Canada in this is what I've learned. Canada is a very kind of weird and happy-go-lucky place, and shit seems to go down in McDonald's an awful lot. So, right, that's the end of that one. Glad I did that now. Again, a lighter vein. You know, again, next week's video will also be of a kind of a funny nature. It may be next week or the week after, because I generally record these on the weekend, but I'm actually going to a convention in England next weekend, so I'll try to record it midweek, because again, it's another kind of a similar video, not like Twitter address or anything, but it's a funny thing. At least it is to me, and it would be to a lot of people. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and again, hope, like, you know, I've stopped saying, oh, I'll keep these regular, because again, I tend to only do a video when it takes me fancy. But lately, there's been an actual legitimate reason why I haven't done a video for a while. I had some major issues, as I already said. But yeah, I'll try and be back next week with the new video, and hope you've enjoyed this, and take care, and I'll see you next time, okay? Bye-bye.